1970s gadgets every kid dreamed of having. Want to travel back to the groovy 70s when lava lamps glowed and disco ruled? Join us as we unveil 20 iconic toys and gadgets that shaped modern tech. From handheld games to stretchy superheroes, let's rediscover the magic of 70s nostalgia. Merlin. Merlin was more than just a game. It was an experience. It featured a grid of LEDs that lit up in various patterns, creating a mesmerizing display of lights and sounds. The game offered 6 different game modes, each with its own unique challenges and rules. Players used buttons to input commands and interact with the game, making it a truly interactive experience. Merlin's success was phenomenal. It sold a staggering 5 million units in its initial run, becoming one of the hottest toys of the late 70s. Its popularity stemmed from its ability to appeal to a wide range of ages and skill levels. The games were easy to learn, but offered enough depth to keep players engaged for hours. Merlin's innovative use of LEDs and sound effects added to its charm. The mesmerizing light patterns and catchy tunes created an immersive experience that drew players in and kept them coming back for more. One of Merlin's most memorable features was the secret sound it produced when you pressed all the buttons together. It was a hidden Easter egg that delighted players and added a touch of mystery to the game. If you remember that iconic sound, be sure to let us know in the comments below.
I got one for Christmas and it's really cool.
Pocket Fisherman. It's the 70s, and you're a kid itching to join the grown-ups on their fishing trips, but you're too young. Then, bam! The Pocket Fisherman hits the scene, and suddenly, you're part of the action. This ingenious little gadget looked like a real fishing rod, just shrunk down to fit in your pocket. It had a telescoping rod, a working reel, and even came with tiny lures. Kids went crazy for it because it wasn't just playing pretend. It felt like the real deal. You could cast, reel, and even catch fish, though they were usually plastic ones that came with the set. The Pocket Fisherman was a stroke of genius because it tapped into that universal childhood desire to be like the grown-ups. It was also incredibly clever in its design, making it portable and easy for kids to take anywhere. Plus, let's be real, it was a lifesaver for parents who wanted to keep their kids entertained without breaking the bank. Back then, the Pocket Fisherman was a steal, costing around $10 to $15. And guess what? You can still snag one today, though it'll set you back about $35. So, if you missed out on this iconic toy as a kid, now's your chance to relive that 70s magic and finally reel in your childhood dream. Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle. This wasn't just a toy motorcycle. It was a tribute to the legendary stuntman himself, Evel Knievel, the man who fearlessly soared over buses and canyons on his motorcycle. Kids back then idolized Evel, and the stunt cycle let them recreate his amazing feats, albeit on a smaller, safer scale. The toy featured a plastic Evel Knievel figure perched atop a motorcycle, but the real magic was in the Energizer. This hand-cranked launcher was the key to launching Evel and his bike into action. You'd wind it up, release the cycle, and watch it zoom across the floor, popping wheelies and even jumping over obstacles. It was pure adrenaline-fueled fun. The Evel Knievel Stunt Cycle was a smash hit because it captured the spirit of Evel's daring stunts. It let kids experience the thrill of motorcycle jumps without the risk of broken bones. Plus, it was just plain cool to have a toy modeled after such a larger-than-life figure. The toy's popularity didn't fade quickly either. The company behind it, Ideal Toy Company, kept it fresh by releasing updated versions and variations throughout the 70s. They added new features, different bikes, and even a stunt van to keep kids coming back for more. Speak and Spell. Speak and Spell's claim to fame was its ability to talk. Using a then cutting-edge speech synthesis chip, it could pronounce words, letters, and even give instructions. For kids in the 70s, this was like magic. Suddenly, learning to spell wasn't just about memorizing words on a page. It was an interactive experience with a talking robot tutor. The toy itself had a simple design: a keyboard, a speaker, and a display screen. Kids would type in words, and speak and spell would pronounce them, providing instant feedback and encouragement. It also offered various games and activities to make learning fun and engaging. Speak and Spell's popularity skyrocketed after it made a cameo appearance in the iconic movie E.T. Suddenly, everyone wanted to have their own talking spelling machine, just like the lovable alien. But Speak and Spell's impact went beyond its entertainment value. It was a pioneer in speech synthesis technology, paving the way for future developments in voice-activated devices and educational tools. The TMS5100 chip that powered Speak and Spell became a standard in early speech synthesis, influencing the development of countless products that followed. Speak and Spell's success can be attributed to its clever combination of education and entertainment. It made learning fun and accessible, and its innovative use of technology made it stand out from the crowd. HP 65 Programmable Calculator. Introduced by Hewlett-Packard in 1972, the HP 65 was one of the first programmable calculators available to the general public. It allowed users to store and execute programs, essentially turning it into a miniature computer that could perform complex calculations with speed and accuracy. The HP 65's design was both functional and elegant. It featured a sleek metallic case with a bright LED display that showed numerical results and programming instructions. Its keyboard was logically laid out, making it easy to enter data and program commands. Under the hood, the HP 65 was powered by a groundbreaking microprocessor and utilized magnetic card readers for storing and loading programs. This allowed users to create custom programs for specific tasks or use pre-written programs for common calculations, making it an incredibly versatile tool. The HP 65 was primarily targeted at professionals and advanced users, including engineers, scientists, and business people. Its ability to perform complex calculations and execute programs made it an invaluable tool for those who needed to solve intricate problems on the go. Its high price tag of nearly $800 reflected its advanced capabilities and target audience. The HP 65's impact on the world of computing was significant. It paved the way for more powerful and affordable programmable calculators, eventually leading to the development of personal computers and the widespread availability of computing power. Did any of these gadgets spark a wave of nostalgia for you? Share your favorite 70s toy memories in the comments. Simon. Launched in 1978 by Milton Bradley, Simon quickly became a household name. Its simple yet addictive gameplay captivated people of all ages. The game itself was a circular device with 4 brightly colored buttons: red, green, blue, and yellow. Simon would light up these buttons in a specific sequence, accompanied by catchy electronic tones. Your challenge? To repeat that sequence perfectly. Sounds easy, right? Well, as you progressed, the sequences got longer and faster, putting your memory and hand-eye coordination to the test. And if you messed up, Simon would let you know with a loud, unmistakable buzzer sound, and you'd have to start all over again. The beauty of Simon was its simplicity. Anyone could pick it up and play, regardless of age or gaming experience. But mastering it? That was a different story. It was the kind of game that could drive you crazy, but you just couldn't put it down. Simon's popularity wasn't just a fluke. It was a clever combination of challenging gameplay, vibrant colors, and those unforgettable sound effects. It was a game that could be enjoyed solo or with friends, making it a perfect party game or a way to pass the time on a rainy day. While the original Simon holds a special place in our hearts, there have been countless variations and updates over the years. But no matter how fancy the new versions get, the original Simon's magic remains unmatched. Mattel Electronic Football. Imagine a time before smartphones and fancy gaming consoles. Back then, Mattel Electronic Football was the cutting edge of portable entertainment. It was a small rectangular device with a red LED display that showed a simplified football field and players. You controlled a single running back, trying to weave your way past defenders and score a touchdown. The controls were basic, just a few buttons for moving left, right, and forward, and another for passing or kicking. But don't underestimate the depth of this game. It required strategy, timing, and quick reflexes to outmaneuver the opposing team. Mattel Electronic Football was a sensation for a reason. It was the first time many people had experienced a truly portable electronic game. You could take it anywhere, play it anytime, and it was incredibly engaging. Kids would spend hours huddled over the glowing red screen, trying to beat their high scores or challenge their friends. It was the kind of game that could turn anyone into a football fanatic, even if they didn't know a touchdown from a field goal. The game's simplicity was a key part of its appeal. It was easy to learn, but mastering it took practice and skill. And that's what made it so addictive. You could always try to improve your score, find new ways to juke past defenders, or perfect your passing game. Atari Pong. Pong's origins are surprisingly humble. Atari co-founder Nolan Bushnell assigned Alcorn the task of creating a simple tennis game as a way to learn the ropes of game development. Little did they know that the seemingly simple project would become a cultural phenomenon. Pong's gameplay was deceptively simple. Two players controlled paddles on either side of the screen, trying to hit a square ball back and forth. The goal was to score points by getting the ball past your opponent's paddle. Despite its minimalistic graphics and basic controls, Pong was incredibly addictive. The back-and-forth volleys, the satisfying sound of the paddle hitting the ball, and the competitive spirit it ignited made it an instant hit in arcades and bars across the country. Pong's success wasn't just about the gameplay, it was about the social experience it created. People would gather around the Pong machine, cheering, jeering, and challenging each other to matches. It was a game that brought people together, fostering a sense of community and friendly competition. Atari 2600. It was one of the first home consoles to use interchangeable cartridges, which meant you weren't limited to just a few built-in games. You could buy new cartridges with all sorts of different games, from sports and racing to space adventures and puzzles. This opened up a whole new world of possibilities for home entertainment. The Atari 2600's game library was legendary. It featured iconic titles like Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Donkey Kong, and Pitfall, many of which are still recognized and enjoyed today. These games were simple by today's standards, but they were incredibly addictive and captured the imaginations of a generation. The console's success wasn't just about the games, it was also about its accessibility. The Atari 2600 was relatively affordable, making it a viable option for many families. It was also easy to set up and play, even for those who weren't tech-savvy. The Atari 2600's impact on the gaming industry cannot be overstated. It popularized home console gaming, paving the way for the countless consoles that followed. Lite-Brite. It consisted of a black screen with hundreds of tiny holes and a light source behind it. Kids would insert colorful plastic pegs into the holes, creating glowing designs that seemed to shimmer and dance in the dark. The magic of Lite-Brite was in its ability to transform simple pegs into vibrant works of art. Kids could follow pre-designed templates to create recognizable images, or let their imaginations run wild and create their own unique designs. The possibilities were endless. Lite-Brite's appeal wasn't just about the creative process. It was also about the mesmerizing effect of the glowing pegs. The light shining through the colored plastic created a vibrant, almost magical glow that captivated kids and adults alike. It was like having a miniature light show in your own home. Hasbro, the company behind Lite-Brite, was smart about keeping the toy relevant over the years. They introduced different versions, including flat-screen models, touchscreen versions, and even a 3D cube, ensuring that Lite-Brite continued to appeal to new generations of kids. Another factor that contributed to Lite-Brite's enduring popularity was its affordability. Despite inflation, Hasbro managed to keep the price relatively stable, making it an accessible toy for families of all income levels. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Stretch Armstrong. Stretch Armstrong was more than just a doll. He was a phenomenon. He was a short, muscular figure with blonde hair and black trunks, and his defining feature was his incredible elasticity. You could grab his arms and legs and stretch them to incredible lengths, up to 4 or 5 feet. And when you let go, he'd slowly return to his normal size, as if by magic. The secret to Stretch Armstrong's stretchability was a unique, gel-like substance inside his body. This substance, combined with a durable latex skin, allowed him to withstand all sorts of stretching and twisting without breaking. And if a tear did develop, a simple adhesive bandage could patch him right up. Stretch Armstrong's development was a fascinating journey. The initial idea was to create a stretchy sumo wrestler figure, but that design proved too bulky. So they shifted gears and created the all-American blonde hunk we all know and love. The first Stretch Armstrong figures were made by dipping a resin mold into latex, a process that created a surprisingly durable and resilient toy. Kids loved Stretch Armstrong for his unique playability. He was more than just a static figure. He was an interactive toy that encouraged imagination and creativity. You could tie him in knots, stretch him around corners, and even use him as a slingshot, though that wasn't officially recommended. Stretch Armstrong's popularity soared in the 70s, and he became a cultural icon. Electronic Battleship. This classic game took the strategic gameplay of the original Battleship board game and amped it up with exciting electronic features, making it a must-have for kids and adults alike in the 70s. Electronic Battleship brought a whole new level of immersion to the classic naval combat game. Instead of manually marking hits and misses on a paper grid, players used electronic consoles with buttons and displays to track their attacks and defenses. The game featured realistic sound effects, including explosions, sonar pings, and the iconic "miss" and "hit" announcements, making it feel like you were commanding a real fleet of warships. The gameplay remained true to the original Battleship, with 2 players secretly placing their ships on a grid and then taking turns calling out coordinates to attack their opponent's fleet. The goal was to sink all of your opponent's ships before they sank yours. But Electronic Battleship added a layer of excitement with its electronic features. The consoles tracked hits and misses automatically, and the sound effects added a dramatic flair to the game. It was a thrilling blend of strategy, luck, and anticipation. Electronic Battleship's popularity wasn't just a fluke. It tapped into the timeless appeal of naval combat and combined it with the excitement of emerging electronic technology. It was a game that could be enjoyed by people of all ages and skill levels, making it a perfect family game or a way to challenge your friends to a strategic duel. Pulsar. Released in 1979, Pulsar was a unique and captivating experience that stood out in a crowded arcade scene with its innovative gameplay and immersive sound and light effects. Pulsar's gameplay was a clever blend of puzzle solving and action. Players controlled a tank in a top-down view maze with the objective of collecting keys to unlock the next level. The catch? The maze was constantly changing, with walls appearing and disappearing at regular intervals, keeping players on their toes and requiring quick thinking and adaptability. The game also featured 3 types of enemy tanks that roamed the maze, shooting at the player's tank whenever it crossed their line of fire. To replenish their fuel, players had to strategically destroy these enemies, adding another layer of challenge to the game. Pulsar's visuals and sound effects were a major part of its appeal. The game used vibrant colors and flashing lights to create a sense of urgency and excitement. The sound effects, including the tank's engine, the firing of lasers, and the explosions of enemy tanks, added to the immersive experience, making players feel like they were truly in the heart of a futuristic tank battle. Pulsar's success can be attributed to its innovative gameplay and its ability to capture the imagination of players. The constantly changing maze kept the game fresh and challenging, while the tank combat added an element of excitement and danger. The game's unique blend of puzzle solving and action made it a hit with both casual and hardcore gamers. Kodak Pocket Instamatic Camera. Before the Pocket Instamatic, photography was often seen as a hobby for enthusiasts with bulky, complicated cameras. But Kodak changed all that with its sleek, compact design and user-friendly features. The Pocket Instamatic was designed for portability. It could easily slip into a pocket or purse, making it the perfect companion for capturing everyday moments, vacations, and special occasions. Kodak also simplified the film loading process with its innovative 126 film cartridges. These cartridges were drop-in ready, eliminating the fumbling and frustration often associated with traditional roll film. While the Pocket Instamatic didn't offer instant prints like Polaroids, it made developing photos easier and more convenient. The 126 cartridges could be dropped off at photo labs or even mailed in for processing, making it a breeze to get your hands on those cherished memories. The Pocket Instamatic's impact on photography was immense. It democratized the art of capturing moments, allowing everyone, regardless of their technical expertise, to document their lives and share their experiences with others. Big Wheels. The Big Wheel's design was simple, yet brilliant. Its most striking feature was its massive front wheel, which gave it a low center of gravity and made it incredibly stable and easy to maneuver. This made it a safer alternative to traditional tricycles, especially for younger children who were still developing their balance and coordination. But the Big Wheel wasn't just about safety, it was about fun. The large front wheel and low-slung design allowed kids to lean into turns and experience a thrilling sense of speed and control. It was the perfect vehicle for neighborhood races, sidewalk adventures, and imaginative play. The Big Wheel's popularity soared in the 70s, thanks in part to its affordability. It was a toy that most families could afford, making it accessible to kids from all walks of life. Its sturdy plastic construction also meant that it could withstand the bumps and bruises of childhood play, ensuring that it would provide years of enjoyment. Do you still have any of these gadgets tucked away in the attic? Show us your vintage treasures in the comments. Easy Bake Oven. Introduced by Kenner in the early 60s, the Easy Bake Oven was a revolutionary toy that captured the imaginations of children everywhere. It was a miniature oven powered by a light bulb that allowed kids to bake small cakes, cookies, and other treats with ease and safety. The Easy Bake Oven's appeal was undeniable. It gave kids a sense of independence and accomplishment, allowing them to create their own culinary masterpieces. The process was simple. You'd mix the ingredients, pour the batter into a special pan, slide it into the oven, and wait for the light bulb's gentle heat to work its magic. The Easy Bake Oven was more than just a toy. It was a learning experience. It taught kids basic baking skills, including measuring ingredients, following instructions, and understanding the science behind baking. It also fostered creativity and imagination, allowing kids to experiment with different flavors and decorations. The Easy Bake Oven's popularity soared in the 70s, thanks in part to its clever marketing campaigns. TV commercials showed kids gleefully baking and decorating their own treats, making it a must-have toy for any aspiring chef. However, the Easy Bake Oven also faced some challenges. The need to purchase separate ingredients for each baking project was seen as inefficient and costly by some parents. Snoopy Snow Cone Machine. The Snoopy Snow Cone Machine was a stroke of marketing genius. Capitalizing on the immense popularity of the Peanuts comic strip, the machine featured Snoopy prominently, perched atop his iconic red doghouse. For kids who loved Snoopy, this was an irresistible combination. The machine itself was simple to operate. You'd add ice cubes to the top, turn it on, and watch as Snoopy magically transformed them into fluffy snow. Then, you'd add your favorite flavored syrup and serve it up in paper cones, just like at the carnival or the beach. The Snoopy Snow Cone Machine was a hit with kids for several reasons. First, it allowed them to create their own treats, giving them a sense of independence and creativity. Second, it was a fun and engaging activity, perfect for hot summer days or parties. And third, it was Snoopy. Who could resist the charm of that lovable beagle? The Snoopy Snow Cone Machine's popularity was so widespread that it even earned a spot on Time magazine's list of 100 best toys in history. ViewMaster. Get ready to step into a world of 3D wonder with the ViewMaster, the iconic stereoscopic viewer that brought breathtaking images to life in the 70s. Long before virtual reality headsets and 3D movies, the ViewMaster offered a unique and immersive way to experience the world, captivating audiences of all ages. The ViewMaster's magic lay in its special reels of film. Each reel contained 7 pairs of stereoscopic images, which, when viewed through the ViewMaster's lenses, created a stunning 3D effect. It was like holding a window to another world, allowing you to explore far-off lands, marvel at natural wonders, or witness historical events as if you were there. While the ViewMaster was originally introduced in the late 1930s, its popularity surged in the 70s, thanks in part to its educational value. ViewMaster reels often featured scenes of nature, historical landmarks, and travel destinations, making it a popular tool for schools and families alike. It was a fun and engaging way to learn about the world, sparking curiosity and a thirst for knowledge in countless children. But the ViewMaster wasn't just for education, it was also for entertainment. In the 70s, ViewMaster began releasing reels featuring popular characters and themes, such as Disney movies, Peanuts cartoons, and even Star Wars. This broadened the appeal of the ViewMaster, making it a must-have toy for kids of all ages. The ViewMaster's success can be attributed to its ability to transport viewers to another place and time. The 3D effect was truly immersive, creating a sense of wonder and excitement that few other toys could match. It was a window to the world, a portal to imagination, and a source of endless entertainment and learning. Radio-controlled cars. Radio-controlled cars, often referred to as RC cars, were a groundbreaking innovation in the toy industry. They allowed kids to control the movement of a miniature car from a distance using a handheld remote, giving them a sense of freedom and control that was unlike anything they had experienced before. The early RC cars of the 70s were relatively simple compared to today's sophisticated models, but they were no less exciting. They typically featured basic forward, reverse, left, and right controls, allowing kids to navigate their cars around obstacles, race against friends, and create their own imaginative courses. The appeal of RC cars was undeniable. Kids could experience the thrill of driving without the need for a driver's license or a full-sized car. They could create their own racetracks in their backyards, driveways, or even living rooms, transforming their everyday surroundings into miniature racing circuits. The ease of operation made RC cars accessible to kids of all ages and skill levels. The simple controls allowed even young children to grasp the basics of steering and maneuvering, while older kids could master more advanced techniques like drifting and performing stunts. The popularity of RC cars in the 70s was fueled by a sense of wonder and excitement about technology. The ability to control a car from a distance using radio waves seemed like magic to many kids. The 1970s were wild, weird, and wonderfully stylish. From disco dazzle to punk rebellion, fashion took bold risks, and we're here for all of it. Whether you rocked it firsthand or just wish you had, get ready to rediscover the iconic trends that turned heads and broke rules. Let's dive into the unforgettable style of the 70s. Wrap dresses. When it comes to timeless fashion moments of the 1970s, the wrap dress stands tall and elegant at the top. Designed to flatter the female form while offering ease and comfort, the wrap dress was the answer to the decade's demand for stylish clothing that also felt effortless. Unlike the flowy caftans or oversized maxi dresses that had dominated earlier in the era, the wrap dress hugged curves, cinched at the waist, and moved beautifully with the body. The woman behind this revolution? Diane von Furstenberg. In 1974, she introduced her now legendary knit jersey wrap dress, and it quickly became a sensation. Women loved it because it was versatile. It could go from the office to dinner with just a change of accessories. It was comfortable, sexy without being revealing, and required almost no maintenance. Slip it on, tie it at the waist, and you were ready to go. The popularity of the wrap dress soared throughout the decade. By the late 70s, Diane von Furstenberg had built a fashion empire worth over $100 million, all starting from this single smart design. More than a dress, it became a symbol of independence and modern femininity, and it still holds that status today. Jumpsuits. If there was one outfit that could capture the glamour, boldness, and sheer fun of 1970s fashion, it was the jumpsuit. This one-piece wonder was a must-have for anyone who wanted to make a statement, and not just on the dance floor. From glamorous parties to everyday wear, jumpsuits became the ultimate fashion flex of the decade. Made in every material imaginable, shiny polyester, breezy silk, daring fishnet, and even artsy macrame, jumpsuits offered endless ways to stand out. Some were sleek and tailored, others were wild and glittery, but all of them brought that unmistakable 70s vibe. The look was body-hugging, flattering, and totally unforgettable, especially when paired with platform shoes and oversized accessories. Celebrities like Cher dazzled in glittering jumpsuits on stage, while Farrah Fawcett and Jerry Hall brought the style into magazines and clubs. And of course, no discussion of jumpsuits would be complete without mentioning Studio 54, the legendary disco where jumpsuits sparkled under strobe lights and ruled the night. Halter tops. When it came to showing off a little skin with a lot of style in the 1970s, nothing beat the halter top. This daring design tied behind the neck and left the shoulders bare, creating a sleek, confident silhouette that became one of the defining fashion statements of the decade. Originally seen as a casual summer staple, halter tops quickly rose through the ranks of fashion thanks to their flattering fit and head-turning appeal. By the mid-70s, top designers had taken notice and began incorporating halter necklines into their high-end evening wear collections. Suddenly, these tops weren't just for the beach or the backyard. They were making appearances at discos, upscale events, and even red carpet galas. Fabrics ranged from soft cotton and crochet to shimmering satin and sequins, each one adding a different twist to the trend. Clogs. Clogs may have centuries-old roots across Europe and Asia, but it wasn't until the free-spirited 1970s that they truly stepped into the spotlight of mainstream fashion. These once humble shoes, originally worn by farmers and workers for their durability, got a groovy makeover and became one of the most iconic and surprisingly stylish footwear choices of the decade. The classic 70s clog was instantly recognizable: a chunky wooden sole, a thick leather upper, and metal studs clearly visible where the two were joined. That exposed hardware wasn't hidden, it was embraced, adding a rugged charm that perfectly matched the earthy, handmade vibe of the era. Some clogs stayed flat for easy, everyday wear, but the ones that really took off were the versions with bold, chunky heels. They gave wearers a little extra height and a whole lot of personality. Tie-dye shirts. Tie-dye shirts first swirled onto the scene during the free-loving hippie movement of the 1960s, but it was the 1970s that truly took this psychedelic pattern to the next level. The look exploded in popularity across the decade, becoming a vibrant symbol of peace, individuality, and rebellion against the stiff fashion norms of the past. What made tie-dye so appealing was how easy and fun it was to make. All you needed were a few rubber bands, some bright dye, and a plain white shirt. Twist, bind, soak, and voila. You had a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. No two shirts ever looked the same, which made tie-dye the perfect canvas for self-expression. People wore it as a badge of their creativity and their values. Go-go boots. Go-go boots first hit the scene in 1964, but they strutted right into the 1970s with even more attitude and style. Originally known for their knee-high length, square toes, and sturdy block heels, these boots quickly became a fashion staple and a symbol of fierce feminine power. In the 70s, go-go boots weren't just for dancers or daring dressers. They were for anyone who wanted to walk with confidence and make a statement. Made from materials like shiny vinyl, soft leather, and even metallic fabrics, go-go boots came in every color under the disco ball. They were bold, fun, and built for movement, perfect for a night out dancing or just turning heads on the sidewalk. The trend was cemented by the era's most famous faces. Twiggy, with her mod meets futuristic style, made go-go boots look effortlessly cool, while Brigitte Bardot brought a sultry edge to the look that added to its global appeal. Aviator glasses. Originally designed in 1936 by Bausch and Lomb to protect pilots' eyes while flying, aviator-style glasses were all about function until the 1970s, when they became one of the hottest fashion accessories of the decade. With their teardrop lenses, thin metal frames, and cool, confident vibe, aviators soared far beyond the cockpit and landed firmly in the center of pop culture. During the 70s, it wasn't just pilots or military men wearing them. Thanks to style icons like Elvis Presley, aviators became a must-have look for anyone wanting to project instant swagger. Whether tinted, mirrored, or lightly shaded, the oversized lenses gave off a sense of mystery and authority. They were bold, a little flashy, and undeniably stylish. Ray-Ban, Bausch and Lomb's now iconic brand, led the charge in flooding the market with aviators of all styles. Movie stars, rock legends, and everyday folks alike embraced them. You'd see them at concerts, on the streets, and, of course, on dance floors under the sparkle of disco lights. Black leather jackets. The black leather jacket, once a symbol of 1950s greaser rebellion, got a loud, gritty makeover in the 1970s, thanks to the rise of punk rock. No longer just a clean-cut biker staple, the jacket was transformed by a new generation of rebels who wore their angst and their art on their sleeves. Literally. Punks made the leather jacket their canvas, customizing it with studs, spikes, patches, safety pins, slogans, and band logos. It became more than a piece of clothing. It was a declaration of attitude. As punk rock music exploded out of underground clubs in London and New York, the style that came with it followed. Suddenly, it wasn't strange to see brightly dyed mohawks, heavy makeup, and skinny drainpipe jeans walking the streets. And Always, always, that black leather jacket to tie it all together. Hot pants. Back in the 1970s, Women's Wear Daily introduced the world to a sizzling new fashion term, hot pants. These weren't your average shorts. They were ultra-short, eye-catching, and designed to turn heads. Unlike casual denim cutoffs, hot pants were often made from upscale materials like velvet, satin, or suede. The look was all about flaunting confidence and showing some serious leg with a glamorous edge. At the start of the decade, top designers embraced the trend and created high-fashion versions meant for more than just lounging by the pool. You'd see hot pants paired with tall boots, silk blouses, and even blazers, blending sexy and chic in a way that had never been done before. Meanwhile, budget-friendly department stores like Sears caught on quickly and made affordable versions for everyday shoppers who wanted in on the fun. Hot pants weren't just a trend, they became a pop culture moment. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis wore them with effortless elegance. Elizabeth Taylor gave them a dramatic flair, and Nancy Sinatra strutted in them like she owned the world. And then there was David Bowie, who bent all the fashion rules and proved hot pants didn't belong to just one gender. It was bold, it was daring, it was pure 1970s. Corduroy clothing. Corduroy had always been practical, a sturdy fabric often used for workwear and school clothes. But in the 1970s, it became downright fashionable. What was once seen as rugged and reserved suddenly got a stylish upgrade, turning into one of the decade's must-have materials. From college campuses to disco halls, corduroy was everywhere, and it was cooler than ever. The ribbed texture gave it a cozy, casual look, but designers found creative ways to make it chic. You'd see corduroy bell-bottoms in rich autumn tones like burnt orange, olive green, and chocolate brown. And it didn't stop at pants. Corduroy jackets, skirts, and even full suits hit the scene, offering a soft alternative to more structured fabrics. These outfits had a laid-back sophistication that fit right in with the relaxed yet expressive spirit of the 70s. Who was your biggest 1970s fashion icon? Cher, Elvis, Farrah Fawcett, or someone else? The leisure suit. One of the most unforgettable fashion moments of the 1970s came in the form of a white three-piece suit worn by none other than John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever in 1977. That iconic dance floor strut, complete with wide lapels, flared pants, and an open shirt collar, didn't just define a movie, it defined an entire fashion era. Almost overnight, the leisure suit became the ultimate style symbol of disco cool. The leisure suit was more than just a trend, it was a lifestyle. Typically made from polyester and other synthetic fabrics, it was lightweight, easy to clean, and built for movement, making it perfect for the disco scene. The standard look included a sharply tailored jacket, bell-bottom pants, and a boldly patterned button-up shirt, usually worn with the top few buttons undone to show off some chest, bonus points if there was a gold chain involved. What made the leisure suit stand out was its blend of formal flair and casual ease. You could wear it to the club, a dinner date, or even a wedding, and still be the best-dressed guy in the room. Thanks to Travolta and the disco craze, the leisure suit wasn't just fashion, it was pure 1970s swagger. Bell bottoms. If there's one fashion trend that instantly shouts 1970s, it's bell bottoms. These wildly flared pants were more than just a passing fad, they were a full-on cultural movement. Starting out as a niche style, bell bottoms exploded into the mainstream thanks to the influence of celebrity power couple Sonny and Cher. Their hit television show showcased the duo in a variety of eye-catching outfits, and bell bottoms quickly became their signature look, catching the eyes of fans around the globe. What made bell bottoms so beloved was their ability to be bold and expressive. You could find them in classic denim for a laid-back look, in vivid cotton prints that turned heads, or even in shiny satin polyester for that full-on disco vibe. The flair could be subtle or dramatic, but one thing was certain. When you walked in bell-bottoms, people noticed. Everyone wore them, men and women, young and old. They were paired with platform shoes, tie-dye tops, or silky shirts unbuttoned just low enough. Whether you were heading to school, the roller rink, or the dance floor, bell-bottoms gave you instant cool points. They were stylish, they were fun, and they defined an entire decade of flair. Platform shoes. Platform shoes weren't exactly new when they strutted back into the spotlight in the 1970s. They'd had a brief moment in the 1930s, but it wasn't until 17 magazine featured them that they truly exploded in popularity. Suddenly, platforms weren't just for stage performers or runway models. They were on the feet of teens everywhere, turning sidewalks into catwalks and school dances into mini discotheques. These chunky-soled shoes were loud, proud, and impossible to ignore. Covered in glitter, metallic finishes, neon colors, or even wild patterns, platform shoes were the perfect match for the flamboyant fashion of the time. They paired especially well with bell-bottom jeans, jumpsuits, and mini dresses, adding both height and drama to any outfit. While young women in their teens and 20s were the main wearers, men weren't left out of the fun. Guys would rock platforms to nightclubs and discotheques, giving them a little boost on the dance floor and a whole lot of swagger. Even major celebrities got in on the craze. Elton John, David Bowie, and Cher were just a few of the stars who turned platforms into fashion statements. Caftans. Before the 1970s, caftans were mostly seen as loose-fitting house dresses or something you'd throw on over a swimsuit at the beach. But when the 70s rolled around, everything changed. These flowing, figure-skimming garments made a dramatic entrance into high fashion, and suddenly, caftans weren't just comfortable, they were chic. What made caftans so appealing in the 1970s was their effortless glamour. With their bold prints, exotic flair, and easy fit, they embodied the relaxed yet stylish spirit of the decade. Fashion-forward women embraced them for their comfort and versatility. You could wear one to lounge at home, then accessorize it and head straight to a cocktail party. That kind of flexibility made them irresistible. Maxi dresses. The maxi dress was the elegant sister of the caftan in the 1970s, a long, flowing garment that still offered comfort, but with a more defined, body-conscious silhouette. While caftans celebrated volume and ease, maxi dresses brought in just enough structure to feel sleek and sophisticated without losing that carefree spirit the decade was known for. Maxi dresses often featured deep V-necks or plunging front lines, giving them a hint of sultry glamour. Tie waists cinched the fabric gently, creating an hourglass shape without the need for tight tailoring. Fitted sleeves balanced out the long, sweeping skirts, and the combination made for a look that was graceful, feminine, and effortlessly stylish. These dresses came in everything from floral cottons and earthy paisleys to bold, geometric prints and silky, jewel-toned fabrics. Whether worn barefoot at a summer music festival or dressed up with heels and jewelry for an evening out, the maxi dress worked for nearly any occasion. It became a staple for women who wanted comfort without sacrificing beauty. The maxi dress was bohemian, romantic, and quietly powerful, all the things the 1970s woman wanted to embody. Which 70s fashion trend do you wish would make a comeback? Brown leather fringe jackets. While black leather jackets ruled the punk scene in the 1970s, the rest of the fashion-forward crowd had their eyes on something a bit more rugged and rooted in Americana: brown leather fringe jackets. These earthy, textured pieces weren't just outerwear, they were a full-on fashion statement, perfectly in tune with the growing love for Western-inspired style that swept through the decade. Made from supple brown suede or leather, These jackets were instantly recognizable by their flowing fringe, which danced with every step. The fringe often lined the sleeves, chest, and back, creating a sense of movement and personality that felt both vintage and fresh. Worn by rock stars, bohemian icons, and trendsetters alike, these jackets captured the free spirit of the time. Their rise went hand in hand with the broader Western wear revival. Bolo ties, embroidered snap-button shirts, wide-brimmed hats, and cowboy boots started making their way into everyday wardrobes, even for folks who'd never stepped foot on a ranch. It was all about blending old-school charm with modern fly. Sheepskin coats, shearlings. Back in the 1970s, if you wanted to stay warm and look effortlessly cool, you slipped into a sheepskin coat, often called a shearling. These coats were everywhere, and much like the members-only jacket of the 80s, they became a defining outerwear piece of the decade. Today, shearlings might be considered a high-end luxury item, but in the 70s, they were surprisingly accessible. You could find them in department stores all across America, hanging right alongside denim jackets and corduroy blazers. What made these coats so special was the irresistible combination of comfort and style. On the outside, you had that soft, suede-like leather, smooth, rich, and often in earthy tones like tan, brown, or beige. On the inside, a warm, cozy fleece lining that felt like a hug on a cold winter day. It wasn't just about staying warm, it was about doing it in serious style. Creepers. Creepers were the underground answer to the flashy platform shoes of the 1970s. Still chunky, still bold, but with a rebellious edge. These thick-soled shoes offered all the height without the disco glitz, making them the perfect alternative for punks, hippies, and anyone who wanted to stand out without following the crowd. With their crepe rubber soles and low-cut designs, creepers were built for comfort, but they carried serious attitude. Originally rooted in post-World War II fashion, creepers made a big comeback in the 1970s as part of the counterculture scene. Punks gravitated to them because they looked tough, defied mainstream trends, and paired perfectly with leather jackets, ripped jeans, and studded belts. Hippies liked them too, for the comfort, the uniqueness, and the anti-fashion statement they quietly made. Unlike the shimmering platforms seen at Studio 54, creepers had a raw, understated cool. They were often black or neutral-toned suede or leather, sometimes featuring bold laces or buckles, and their legacy didn't end in the 70s. In more recent years, fashion icon Rihanna brought them back into the spotlight with her Puma Fenty line, proof that creepers still have street cred decades later. The tube top. In the 1970s, fashion was all about freedom. Freedom of movement, freedom of expression, and yes, freedom from the bra. That's when the tube top burst onto the scene. It was bold, it was daring, and for many women it was the ultimate symbol of liberation. With no straps, no wires, and no structure, it clung to the body like a second skin, creating a sleek, sexy silhouette that felt revolutionary at the time. By the late 70s, tube tops were everywhere. They became a go-to summer staple, often paired with high-waisted jeans or flared pants. And it wasn't just everyday folks embracing the trend. Celebrities helped make it iconic. Cher dazzled in glitzy versions on stage. Bianca Jagger brought high-fashion flair to it at Studio 54, and Suzanne Summers made it mainstream on TV. These women wore the look with confidence, turning what started as a casual beachwear piece into a red carpet and nightlife essential. Whether made from terry cloth, spandex, or sequins, the tube top defined a decade where rules were made to be broken, and style was all about making a statement, no matter how small the fabric. Oversized collars. If there's one detail that screams 1970s style, it's the oversized collar. In that era of flair and flamboyance, tiny collars just couldn't keep up. The fashion world was all about going big, and the collar was no exception. These wide pointed collars, often called disco collars, sat proudly atop button-up shirts, giving every outfit an instant attitude boost. You'd find these dramatic collars on everything from silk shirts to polyester blends, and they were the perfect match for the decade's other bold trends: bell-bottoms, platform shoes, and colorful patterns. They added drama to otherwise classic pieces, making a simple shirt feel like a statement. These collars weren't just for the fashion-forward crowd, they were for everyone. Elvis Presley made them look electric on stage with rhinestone-studded jumpsuits, while Mick Jagger brought rock and roll swagger to the style. Whether you were hitting the dance floor or just heading out for the night, that exaggerated collar said you were ready for fun. Headscarves. Headscarves may have bloomed in the flower power era of the 1960s, but they truly came into their own during the stylish and experimental 1970s. No longer just a symbol of bohemian spirit, these scarves evolved into a full-fledged fashion accessory, embraced by hippies, glam goddesses, and trendsetters alike. Worn as headbands, knotted under the chin, or tied up in chic turban styles, headscarves offered versatility, personality, and just the right amount of flair. Most headscarves in the 70s were made from lightweight polyester or smooth, glossy silk, and color was everything. You'd see bright psychedelic prints, swirling paisleys, and bold florals, sometimes all in one scarf. They added a pop of color to any outfit and helped tame unruly hair in style, especially on windy days or after a night of dancing. Fashion icons like Bianca Jagger, Stevie Nicks, and even Farrah Fawcett could be seen sporting scarves wrapped effortlessly around their heads, making the look glamorous yet free-spirited. Whether you were lounging at a music festival or strutting through city streets, a headscarf gave off just the right vibe: carefree, confident, and unmistakably 1970s. It wasn't just an accessory, it was an attitude. Mood ring. One of the most curious and captivating fads to come out of the 1970s. First hitting the market in 1975, these magical-looking rings were an instant hit. They weren't just jewelry, they were conversation starters, personality tests, and wearable science experiments all rolled into one. The idea? That the ring could sense your mood by changing color in response to your body heat. The stone in the center would shift through a rainbow of hues: blue for calm, green for happy, black for stressed, at least according to the color charts that came with them. It was part fashion, part pop psychology, and part pure fun. Teens and young adults couldn't get enough of them. Some of the more elaborate designs, often set in sterling silver or gold-plated bands, sold for as much as $250, a hefty price for a ring that couldn't actually read your mind. Bold gold chains. If your outfit in the 1970s didn't have a little gold sparkle, were you really doing it right? When it came to jewelry, the rule of the decade was simple: go big, go bold, and make it gold. Yellow gold made a dramatic comeback during the 70s, and it wasn't just delicate rings or dainty bracelets. People were all about thick, eye-catching gold chains that demanded attention. These chunky chains became a fashion staple for both men and women. They were often layered, paired with wide lapel shirts, and worn over bare skin or open collars for maximum effect. Gold hoop earrings, oversized pendants, and statement bangles rounded out the look, but it was the chain, especially those heavy yellow gold links, that became the standout accessory of the era. This bold jewelry trend didn't fade when the disco ball dimmed. It carried right over into the 1980s, becoming a key element in early hip-hop fashion. Artists and style icons in that movement took the 70s love of gold and pushed it even further. But its roots? All disco, all glamour, all 1970s. When you saw someone in a thick gold chain back then, you knew they were ready to groove and ready to shine. Did you ever wear any of these iconic outfits or see someone who totally rocked them? Micro mini skirts. While micro mini skirts first grabbed attention in the swinging 60s, it was in the 1970s that they truly took off and became a bold symbol of freedom and self-expression. The hemlines got even shorter, the styles more daring, and the message louder. These ultra-short skirts weren't just about fashion, they were about power. Feminist icon Gloria Steinem and others embraced the mini as a statement of independence, shaking off the conservative dress codes of the past and stepping into something fearless and fresh. In the 70s, micro minis were everywhere, from city streets to magazine covers to dance floors lit with disco lights. Designers played with new fabrics and vibrant colors, offering minis in leather, denim, suede, and even metallics. Women paired them with knee-high boots, patterned tights, or tall socks, and topped the look with turtlenecks, halter tops, or cropped jackets. What made the Micro Mini so revolutionary was its unapologetic confidence. It challenged the norms, celebrated the body, and allowed women to take control of their image. In a decade that was all about liberation, socially, politically, and personally, the Micro Mini skirt stood as a fun, flirty, and fearless symbol of a new kind of freedom. Wow, what a trip down memory lane. Did your favorite toy make the list? Let me know in the comments if I missed any iconic gizmos. If you enjoyed this blast from the past, be sure to check out other videos in the series and share the nostalgia with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to Who Remembers for more blasts from the past. Thanks for watching.